On today's show, we have Jamie Thomson, the lore master of Vulcan Forged. Vulcan Forged is an NFT game studio, marketplace, and DApp incubator. The company currently has over 10 games, a community of 20,000 plus, and has a top 5 marketplace volume. Welcome, Jamie, to the show. Why don't you get started with telling us more about what you're doing at Vulcan Forged?
I suppose I should explain then that I'm not the CEO, Jamie Thomson. I'm another Jamie Thomson, but the CEO is my nephew, strangely enough, and he can't make it because the company has kind of taken off into the stratosphere and he's very busy. And I actually work for him now. The reason I'm the lore master, as it were, of the VulcanVerse is that I've written quite a lot of choose-your-own-adventure game books, computer games. I started out my career in the 80s doing Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, so I've been game books, novels, computer games, board games, 40 years of goblins. So my nephew naturally brought me in on an MMO fantasy crypto game to help with the writing. I suppose I should say the VulcanVerse is one of the first play-to-earn crypto games out there in the market, and it's started quite small, but already has something like over 100,000 registered users. The staff is going up to 70, or might be more than that already. But it isn't so much about the gaming as what we think it's about the ownership. And that changes the way people play. There are these quadrants like Hades, and I wrote these Dark Lord children's books, so my username is Dark Lord. And obviously Hades is my favorite quadrant, for it is the quadrant of the dead. But there's also Arcadia, which is like a land of flowers and trees and dryads. It's all Greek myth based. And then there's Notus, the land of the burning desert sands, and the frozen winds of Boreas, the north. And these were made of 10,000 plots of land. And the first thing that happened was that the VulcanVerse sold plots of land, digital land, in an online world, and they all sold out virtually within a week. And now people are sort of buying and selling to each other plots of land, and they get to build on them. The land keeps getting improving, and you have to stake it to make it more higher levels of land, and then you can build more and more. And eventually I want to be able to build my own Tower of Doom in Hades, and it'll be the Dark Lord's tower, because everyone's land is named, so you know whose plot of land it is. So it's not just playing to earn, it's playing to own, paying to earn. Per, which means Greek for fire, is based on a real economy with real people exchanging goods and selling stuff to each other. And I know that everything's taking a big hit. Per is like £2.50 or whatever, $3, say. And only before December, it was $30 or $50 even. But even so, people are buying and selling land to each other for 500 or more per a go, because the land is highly valuable. You can stake it and earn per from it, and it also enables you to enter the VulcanVerse and then use creatures called Vulcanites, which are the things that I've created the names for and little backstories, and they're NFTs that you can play the game with, and you use them to forage and fight and earn experience, and that gives you lava, which is an in-game currency that you can then convert into per. So it's a fun way of earning money. And then there's the Elysium blockchain coming along, which is another really interesting development. Because at the moment, most of the NFTs that we have in the game, and there are many of them, are on the, I think it's the V-chain blockchain. So we're going to have to shift everything over to the Elysium blockchain. And that's being built with the latest technology and the latest software. And also it will be carbon neutral. What happens on the Elysium blockchain? Already, I think about 50,000 trees have been planted, with fees that have been earned for the VulcanVerse company that have been diverted to one of the partners, Kures, I think they're called. And there's new partnerships coming along, which will involve fees from the blockchain, Elysium blockchain, going into planting hundreds of thousands of trees. So it really will be a way of deflecting one of the major criticisms of cryptocurrencies. It's what do you call it, ungreen credentials, I suppose, that it takes so much energy to mine Bitcoin and stuff. And so the Elysium blockchain will be completely modern, up to date, and absolutely carbon neutral. And I think that's why it's attracting various people who want to partner with VulcanVerse, including, I think we're allowed to say DKNY. And there's some other big brands.
Can you comment maybe on like the token, right? Like PYR, just the utility in the long run. Like I think what everyone sees in the market that these tokens obviously go way up and then come way down, and they question the viability and longevity of these in-game tokens and if it's actually a reality in the future.
Yeah, so if PER was being traded, I think, on the stock exchange, it would be rocketing, because PER is based on a real currency, and it's not just a game. It's got all of these other things going on around it, different games, but also the green thing, the partnering with fashion brands and its own blockchain. And I think it's going to be around for a while, and I think it's going to change the way, it's going to be like a real metaverse in a way that Facebook isn't, if you know what I mean. I doubt it'll ever be as big as Facebook, but I suppose the marketplace might be, because VulcanVerse is just one of several other crypto-based games, and there's like one called the Hustleverse, which is mostly for musicians and stuff, but they're all using PER in one way or another, and will be using the Elysium blockchain. So PER is really based on a lot of things and not just one game. So I think it's going to be around for a long time. And I also believe, having been in gaming all my life, this new play-to-earn model is going to work, and it's going to be with us for a long time, because there are millions of people who aren't traditional gamers. They don't want to sit in an Xbox on a Saturday night, but having fun whilst earning money and owning things that you can buy and sell. So you're not just owning your, like in an MMO, you might have a pet, but in this, you've got something that is worth thousands of dollars.
So how do you see like maybe companies or enterprises participating in the Vulcan's metaverse maybe?
Well, there's already several that have joined. There's the Hustleverse, and there's Coolrest, who are the NFT tree guys. So you buy NFT trees, and then the money that's made goes into actually planting real ones. There's several already that when we had Vulcan, which was a convention last month, several have already joined, but it's largely based on using the PER as their token, primary token, and minting their NFTs on the Elysium blockchain. And that can only ever grow. And part of that is the more people you bring in, the more others notice and the more join. Jamie's very good at making these deals. He's a very believable, personable fellow, and he's pretty honest. So deals are done and deals are done.
So with so many people launching like thousands of games, right? Let's call it around the whole entire world right now to try to participate in this new blockchain movement, how will winners stand out and be here in 5 or 10 years? And kind of what's going to differentiate those that do win for maybe the listeners that are trying to do due diligence on certain projects to invest in?
Yeah, there will be a lot of competitors. So being one of the first is very important, and getting it right, which I think we have, is going to be important. And then there are just things about, depending on the kind of, if it's going to be play to earn, then there's always going to be a play element. So part of that is going to be matching that game design versus the need to earn money, so that the play becomes an enhancer or an enabler of earning rather than a blocker. So traditional games, you might play for hours and hours to level up. And that's because they want to keep you playing for hours and hours. And you really enjoy it, and it's important in a different sense. So in this play to earn, it's about making sure that you're earning, and it's worth your while to spend your time doing this. There will be new things coming along that we hadn't thought of. But because we've already gone through the process of this doesn't work, this does, we're a few steps ahead. So I think we'll be here as the first mover for a long time.
For those listening, what is the best way for them to get started with the game and see what it's all about from?
Well, it's to start a Vulcan Forged account. And once you've got a Vulcan Forged account, there are all these different games you can play in different ways. And they're all, you have your wallet in the Vulcan Forged account, and that's where your lava and your PER will go, and your NFTs, if you buy any. And then to get into the VulcanVerse, you have to own land or you can rent land. You'll find some land that is free to rent and might give you 3 months. And then you just join and play, or buy some land.